Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard. This is Amar Shath at Sales for Life, and welcome to another edition of the Social Influencer Series. My guest today needs no introduction, yet I'm going to give you one. Welcome to Jill Rowley. Jill, thanks so much for joining here.
Thanks, Mar. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And team, if you need any introduction to Jill Rowley, her Twitter handle is right there below her name. I would absolutely advise you to follow her on Twitter and connect with her on LinkedIn. The insights that she shares are absolutely amazing. And she truly is the pioneer of our industry, and she's taking this entire social selling, social transformation movement forward. So, Jill, I really appreciate your time.
That was way too kind of an introduction, Amar. And I am definitely not doing this alone. Yes, we are blazing new trails, but there are a lot of folks who are part of the movement, and I'm just one of the folks who is really enjoying blazing these new trails.
And thank you for your very courteous and generous reply, which is extremely understated. So, Jill, I wanted to focus time because I don't get a lot of time with you. So, this is awesome, first of all. And I wanted to focus this time on talking about social selling from an enablement perspective, whether it's sales enablement or enablement by department. My first question for you is, can you shed your perspective on is what role does enablement play in an organization that is about to go down a social selling path or is currently undertaking one right now?
Sure. So I actually just sent an email to someone I've been working with around social selling, and the organization has actually bought into the concept of social selling all the way up to the chief marketing and sales officer, who brought me in to do kind of a wake-up call keynote to a team of sales professionals. But what they haven't done as an organization is approached it from a strategic perspective. They haven't designed a formal program around how are they going to bring this new discipline, these new skills, drive behavioral change, implement new metrics to measure. They haven't really put any structure around becoming a social selling organization. And to really get the results, the return on the opportunity, if you will, you have to treat it like any other strategic initiative within an organization. You have to have executive sponsorship and role modeling and role setting. You have to have a program owner who will be accountable for all of the moving parts of a true social selling program. You have to have buy-in from multiple organizations. You have to have sales leadership, marketing. Marketing is really important in terms of providing guidance and content to fuel the social selling program. You have to have enablement and training because these are new skills and new tools that will be required. So there's a whole lot involved. And if you are an organization like the majority of companies at this stage, there's a lot of random acts of social selling happening within your company.
I love the way you frame that. Let's talk about, so enablement can get involved. And what guidance or what advice would you give to organizations that are viewing this video that have specific questions around how do I get out of the zone of random acts of social? Like, what are the 30,000 foot view items that you could suggest to them?
Sure. So I just break it down. Mindset, skill set, toolkit. So what is the mindset of your sales organization? Is your sales organization still selling pretty much the same way they were 10 years ago? Interruptive strategies, prospecting, hunting, farming, calling, unsolicited emails. Do they really align around a sales process, or is your sales organization really understanding the modern buyer? Does your sales organization know that the modern buyer is digitally driven, socially connected, mobile, and empowered, with access to unlimited information and access to people in their social networks? Does your sales organization understand your ideal customer profile? What are the companies that fit the profile of an organization that's going to generate a significant amount of value from your solution? The people within that organization who fits your profile. Who are those people? What roles and responsibilities do they have? Understanding those buyer personas, understanding the buyer's journey, how the buyer buys, and aligning to that buyer. So that's a pretty big mindset shift.
That's a huge mindset shift. Yeah.
And that doesn't happen overnight. So it's going to require quite a bit of evangelism, right? Of education. So really mindset shift, skill set. So what are the skills of your reps today? Do they have the competencies and capabilities of a social seller? Do they have a social presence? What does their social presence say about them? Do they have a professional network that they are leveraging the social tools to grow and build their professional network? So there's skills that have to be developed within your sales organization.
Right. Yeah.
And then tools. What are the tools that would help your sales organization do research on your buyer, to be more relevant with your buyer, to build a relationship with the buyer so that you could ultimately drive revenue? So what are the tools? Where are your buyers learning? Where are they networking amongst them, each other, and figuring out how to help your sales team use tools to better connect and relate and engage with the modern buyer?
A lot to take in, Jill, for sure. And I think you've said it best when you say that it's an evolution. It's not going to happen overnight. I think a lot of company leadership, they retract and they kind of shy away from social, or they're sticking to their random acts of social because they don't know, or they don't have a strategy in place, as you say, to kind of get to that next step. Now, specifically around enablement, what can enablement do? Just from the hundreds of companies you've talked to, what are you seeing in the marketplace? How can an enablement, say, assist the mindset shift? What are the top 2 or 3, and sorry to boil it down like that, but what are some of the nuggets that you can shed there?
Sure. So it's really packaging up the program in a way that is consumable. JLL does a fantastic job with driving awareness of the need to embrace social selling, and then the support, the resources to help those sales professionals leverage these new channels. It could be as basic and fundamental as providing workshops on how to revise your LinkedIn profile, right? A lot of sales reps are using LinkedIn as their online resume.
Correct, yeah.
And it's optimized for getting their next job, or it's optimized for getting the current job that they actually have. And that's the last time they've actually updated their LinkedIn profile. Versus really looking at LinkedIn as a place where your potential buyers are going to go and check you out and determine whether they want to invest their time in meeting with you, speaking with you, exchanging information with you. And so thinking about, how do I actually make my LinkedIn profile more appealing to the modern buyer that I'm trying to reach and engage with? It could be lunch and learns, right? As simple as having lunch and learns where you have sales professionals tell stories about how they've leveraged social to either get a meeting, to learn about a competitor that's in a deal, to accelerate the process by finding connections that exist that they weren't aware of. Maybe the decision maker went to your college and you didn't even know that. But by looking at her LinkedIn profile, you can see that she went to University of Virginia, I went to University of Virginia. So that using that information that you can uncover via the social web, it can help you build better relationships that ultimately help you win more business.
Some great insights there. I'll share this insight with you as well from what we're seeing in the market. I think one of the fundamental challenges that companies are having in kind of creating this mindset shift is, sales is, and I guess we're allowed to say this because we're all in the industry, we're very typical creatures, as they say. And there's marketing coming at sales, there's enablement, there's management, they're saying, do social, do social. And I think companies have a genuine desire to get their reps there, but no one has really taken the time to show reps how they should stay laser focused on a very few items on social platforms, right? If you think about it, between LinkedIn and Twitter, there are thousands of features. Where should reps spend time? Because it can't be on all of them. And most importantly, and this is now leading up to my question, how can enablement demonstrate what reps should do to drive net new pipeline and revenue? Because I think that is the home run. That's the holy grail. What are your insights? What are you seeing from the companies that you're working with, that you're speaking to, around demonstrating that pipeline and revenue growth possibility?
Yeah. So LinkedIn and Twitter and whatever other networks that your buyers are using, the sales reps need to understand, one, the purpose of the network, the tone of the network, the way the network works, the conversation that could be had on the network, and enablement needs to provide that education. But more importantly, you hit on it. Reps need to stay focused, and social does have there. You can, without structure around it, you can end up wasting a couple hours of your day if you're just out there doing social.
Random acts of social, as you say.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so the key is, what are the features, what are the tasks, what are the reports to set up, what are the order in which you should do things, really prescribing that to the sales team, and prescribing that from the perspective of what are the tools that they use today, CRM. So ultimately, you want to be able to track the effectiveness of social on pipeline and revenue.
Absolutely.
So what do reps need to be doing in their CRM systems to be able to track their behaviors and ultimately the impact that this has on pipeline and revenue? So enablement puts structure around something that might appear to be quite unstructured social world, and they help really define when and how to use these social channels and social tools, and they also are able to put that into the context of the current sales methodology, sales processes, sales tools, sales metrics, and they're able to really put it into the context of what the rep is already supposed to be doing today and how this layers into the existing frameworks within the organization.
Some incredible insights there, Jill. Thank you. So we're going to, I don't want to take too much of your time, so I'll ask you this question now. If I had asked you this last question on an interview a year or two ago, my question to you would have been, Jill, what words of wisdom or motivation can you give reps to try social? I think we're clearly in the era of organizations dabbling, even doing random acts of social, as we say. So now my question becomes, at this stage of 2015, what words of advice would you give management to bring social transformation inside their organization?
Sure. So I would look at it through the eyes of the customer you're trying to acquire. So from a sales leadership perspective, I would ask myself, are our customers and our future buyers, everyone calls them prospects, I hate the word prospect.
You call future advocates, yeah.
Yeah, are
Right.
future advocates on social networks? Do they have a presence? Do they participate? Are they active? And which social networks, if they are active in social? And if your buyers are using social, in sales, you have to be where your buyers are.
Right.
Offline at events, online in social networks, you have to be there hashtag all the time. Not only are our buyers on social, but are the people and the organizations that influence our buyers. So if you're in software, it's the analysts, it's the third-party experts, it's the thought leaders. So are these people and organizations that influence our buyers on social? And if the answer is yes, then you need to figure out how to incorporate social into your salespeople's world. If
It's a
the
great
answer
way to
is
look at it.
no, I would revisit this down the road.
Yeah,
If your
absolutely.
buyers aren't there, the people who influence the buyers aren't on social, don't waste your time on social.
Yeah, great way to look at it, Jill. Jill, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. I know we didn't have a lot today, but I really wanted to meet with you to capture your insights on enablement and social selling. So thanks again. And folks, follow Jill if you're not already doing so. And Jill, I hope to have you back on the show in the future, in the near future one day. And maybe the market will have evolved so much, we'll be talking about social from a completely different angle altogether. That's my
That'd
hope.
be, yeah, me too, Amar. And I hope we could bring in actually some real companies, real practitioners, real enablement professionals, real salespeople who are actually doing social. And I know you guys do a great job of already interviewing those folks anyways, but I think we need more and more and more of that. We need to
Totally agree.
understand how practitioners, how leaders are actually paving the paths of social and blazing the trail. So the more practitioners we can interview, the better we'll learn from them.
Completely agree. Thanks so much, Jill. Really appreciate your time. Take care.
Thanks, Amar.